Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. All right, let's go to the share. All right. Whoa. I can see the infinity.
Yes.
I think it's because you are what? Like, let's see. You don't want that. Is that better now?
Yes. Better.
Okay, so much better. All right. So I hope we all know what the JSON is. Basically, JSON is a kind of an object like XML, and it is used to send data with HTTP requests. For example, pages or not pages, but like basically basic data, like first name, last name, etc. So usually JSON is an object, and so in my example here, you can say original JSON, and then this original JSON is let's see which one is it. So please, let's see. The JSON is, I think, this. Yeah, yeah, the person. So we can see that this is the putting this into inner HTML and it's outputting right here. And so it says object because we didn't parse it or anything. So then we say JSON.stringify. Basically, this object is transformed into a string. And then once I will output string here, you can say the JSON string right here. And then this is right, exactly this. Once we output as a string, then we can see what it looks like in real life. And then we use and then we can transfer it into a JSON object, back to JSON object. Let's see here, play object. The play object is here. So we can say this this person string, which we stringified before, right here. We are saying JSON.parse, and we are passing the person string, and then it becomes the JSON object again. So, and then we can see here that it is a JSON object, back to the JSON object, whatever it was before. So it kind of, this is used to parse the data out of the JSON object. And then next one is, let's see, next one is users. So I did this small array of objects here, which has several objects such as Doe, Dean, and Mancock, and I called it users. So the users is right here. So I'm putting this one to the user object, and the user's object is passed right here. So array of users. Now we can see that instead of one object, that we have one object, two, and a three objects. So there's three objects in this array, and they are outputting straight away like this. Obviously, we cannot see because they are objects, but array, it's still an array, and then it's still outputting. In order to see this, we need to stringify. So you can see we have users, and then we are passing these users right here into the JSON.stringify, and then we are getting new users. And these new users are right here. We are passing to the DOM, and then we get these, which this is entire array. As we see, it's in brackets, and then it has curly brackets. Curly bracket has each object, stringified object. I have to define properly. So it's a stringified object, and there's this, and there's another one. So also stringify takes second parameter, which enables developers to find values in the string and replicate it. So we can say see here original object, and then we are just so what we are doing here. Okay. So this is an original object, right?
Yes.
And then we have a function here, not function, but this one. Whatever. Yeah, we have a function here, which will says we are basically passing exactly the same object, and we say if key equals email, so we are targeting the email. Okay, so we can say if key equals email, if this object contains email in it, then we are returning company coolcompany.com. So that means that, so basically if this object, JSON object, has email property in it, change that email property into this new email. And then when we output this email, when we output this object, we can see that instead of this old email, which says do@gmail.com, we have a new email. So that's it pretty much.
That's very interesting. So stringify is only to see what values we have in JSON object, right?
Stringify, not necessary. Yes, it is. Stringify is just used to convert an object into a string. So because it's an object here, let's see. You could have said here, like, for example, if I have a person, right? You can see that this is a person, right? I can say, let's see. Dog, then I can say person dot name, and then that will give me the first name of a person.
Mm-hmm.
This will give me the first name. It just says get the person, go into this person and get the first name, right? This gives me only first name. And then you can do the same thing with the last name and other things. Stringify, it just makes this this variable, this one, a string, or entire array, not array, the person object into a string. It just transforms it into a string. It's just when you're passing a data, for example, you just recently received data from HTTP request on your website, and you can write a code which will stringify that and then display it straight away on the screen. That makes sense. So yes, in a sense. And you can, that's also a way, also like when you're debugging, it's a really good way to see what are you getting on your control console. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very interesting.
Here, right? Look at that. So we got this string, this array, 3 arrays, and then it's an object, and then a string, and a number, and string. So yeah. And then if I will restart, I got this John. Did you remember when I did this right here? So yeah, that's John. But if I don't want to look just the John and I want to look entire string, entire JSON object what I got, instead of writing person.fname, person.last name, you know, I can just straight away stringify and log it out. And then parse, it parses it back. So if you have a string, you can parse the string and make it into JSON object. So for example here, right, and what the heck? Okay. What? Get out. The heck does it do? Okay. I don't know why it does. Okay. Here. Here you can see in this thing that I'm passing this person string. It's a string, and then JSON parse takes its, gets its magic and spits it out as JSON object. And then it's object here. It's not string anymore like this. Any other question?
No. It's all right. So in order to convert a JavaScript object to a JSON object, I must stringify and use a JSON parse, or have another way to do it directly.
What do you mean JavaScript object into a JSON object?
Because JavaScript object, the property of objects don't have a double quotes.
This is a JavaScript object right here.
Yes, person. But you stringify it using the JSON?
No, you don't need to.
JSON.
No, you don't need to. This one is already, this one is key value pairs already. So what's gonna happen, this person, you can just, let's see, let me give you an example. It's right here. So you have this, right? You can, what you can do, you can just pass this one into a parse.
I can use only person in JSON parse, and I can use the person and need to convert it to a job object, for example.
What do you mean? Tell me again. Ask me again. Sorry.
Okay. For example, I don't necessarily need a person stringify object. I can use the person variable, person object, in the JSON.parse to convert to a job object.
To convert to the job object?
Yes, in the line 30. Okay. You are converting a person stringified object, right?
The heck is
you are converting person string to a job object, the line 30.
Okay, you mean here? This one?
No, in the line 30.
30, okay, 30, okay. Okay, this one, JSON, yes. Okay. Because I'm just passing the, this is a string.
Yes, but instead of using a person string, can you use person object to convert
Okay,
directly to a JSON.
let's see. Should we see? Let's see. All right, let's see. Let's call it a new OBG. BG. Something is happening to this. Okay, OBG. Okay, and then we can get the JSON. Parse. Right? And then we can say person. Like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Uncode reference person is not defined. And what did I?
You type
Oh,
wrong person. It's a PS.
okay. Now it's correct. Position one, JSON parse anonymous. Let me just put it here because it's right after it. All right. So new object. Well, seems like it doesn't work.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So it says uncode syntax error unexpected token in JSON at position one. Let's see. Because I don't think I have ever done this before. Okay.
So probably uh, we only can convert a JavaScript object to a JSON file only if it is stringified, right?
So because it
Or
just doesn't know what
to,
data type is it. Look. So it looks like
no,
jQuery takes a guess about the data type. It does the JSON parsing even though you are not calling JSON. Okay. Then when you try to call JSON parse on an object, you're getting an error. Yep. So yeah. Sorry, what are you saying?
no, it was a question. So we only can convert a stringified JavaScript to a JSON, or we can do a direct conversion of a JavaScript object to a JSON.
Let's see. I don't think I have ever done the JavaScript object. I usually let's see. Convert JavaScript object to JSON. There we go.
Stringified.
That is an object.
And
A
must
string
convert. Yes, must do a stringify to convert.
W3 schools kind of stuck. Sucks. Um. All right. I think it's gonna happen. I think if I will do this, that should work. Look, let's just try. I really want to know if it will work or not. this.
Yeah, but it's now is a JSON object.
Yeah.
Or better, it's
So it's,
stringified
yeah, that
variable.
that will work. Um, let's see. Um, hey, what does this do? Input this. Um, huh. Yeah, there's none. Anyway, okay.
Anyway,
So I do not know. I don't think it's possible, I guess.
yes, maybe we must do a stringified object with JavaScript in order to convert to a JSON. But that's okay. This was
That's what
only a
I usually
question.
do. So that's what I did. First, I stringified the person here. Look,
Yes,
so I
it's
stringified
worth
the
it.
person. And
Hmm.
then I got this person and I passed it to parse and then
Yes,
made the object.
it's worth it.
So yeah, it stringifies back and forth.
But thank you.
Yeah. Um, so I was thinking I can do, what time is it now? Okay. I was thinking I can do second one too.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, I was thinking I can do second one, so we can be done sooner. Like we will have the less thing because sometimes I don't think we will be able to what do you call that one?
Uh,
Um,
uh,
catch up
again,
with all
first
of.
thing,
Sorry.
yeah, um, so, yeah, you can continue.
So I'm
Sorry.
thinking to do the these 7 and 8. Well, let's just do 7. Should we manipulate creating CSS transitions and animations, CSS triggering? Okay. Manipulating CSS. Let's do this. Let's say manipulating CSS number 7. Let's go to the there. Manipulating. Where's the money? Okay, here we go. That's what we have. Let's open up the this. All right. Actually, this is pretty simple.
Mhm.
This is very simple. So when we click this, we can see that, well, before this was a small box, and then we have it right here, testing. And then this was a small box, and then style color is purple. And then we can see that it's purple. And then this has a properties of width is 200 pixels and oh well, actually background color is lime. It's not purple, it's lime. I don't even need this, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah. So background color is lime, and then its width is 200 pixels. So what are we doing here? We are just getting the object, the reference to the div, and then we don't need that. We don't need that. This is something else. Remove message. Oh, okay. Manipulate CSS. This one. Okay. So So we can see we are getting the element and we are saying set attribute. Basically, set attribute gives us the access to the CSS properties of this div, if that makes sense, like that. And then we are saying we can set the attribute, and then we can say style, which attribute, the style attribute. And then in the style, we are setting the background color. And then we say that background color can be coral. And then height is 200 pixels. And when we do that, for element, get style, alert, okay. We are getting this. So before the width was 200 pixels, but width doesn't change. We are changing just heights right now. Then once we click this, there we go. And then if we want to change height, we can also simply say, let's see. We can also simply say that. And we can say, I'm not height, width. And then we can say 500 pixels. And then we need, oh, that's it. And then we got our width changed too. It's like easy peasy. And then I'm alerting this. That's why we get the alert before we do this. Anyway, that's pretty much it, the manipulation. So you can set any property you want, not only background color, but like anything literally you want. I don't know what width, heights. We can even set margins, and let's see, radius. So we can just type it here, and then it will change it. That's it. Any
Very
questions?
good. No, it's good. Usually, I do something a little different from it.
Yeah.
I add a class, and I use this style in CSS. I create a class in CSS, and I add a class or remove the class. But it will do the same thing.
To add
But
the class. Oh, you are talking about the add attribute.
yes, will be
Okay.
element dot. I don't remember the function name, but maybe it's add class.
This one.
No, it's not
You're
set
talking about
attribute.
this. This one, it says add attribute, and
Ah,
then
yes,
the attribute.
yes, it
Yeah.
will work too. But I have a comment for add class too,
Okay.
because
Sorry. Go for it. Sorry.
huh? Okay, I will
Um,
find it.
this is just easier instead of adding. This is just temporarily, and this is much easier to do than adding the class and attributes. This just like straight access to the DOM component. That enables you to just do style and then access to whatever you want in the style, if that makes sense. So since I have in here, let's see. In here, I have creating CSS transitions, and let's actually, since we are talking about that, I was thinking to do one more for the, where was that thing? Okay, storage, manipulate, create, this one, create elements. This one, I think you might like this. And then we can put this one right here. And then we can get these from here. and put it where? Yeah, I guess so. All right. Anyway, let's do this. So I was thinking to just do this because since you mentioned that attribute, where is this? DOM manipulating using create element, append child, insert before, and remove child. So that is actually it's here too. It's kind of connected, but I have a separate string for that, a separate component for the thing for this. Let's see, create function inheritance. No, we need this manipulating localhost. Let's see. Oh, I think it's the same thing, manipulating. Yeah. Property loops, condition statements. No. Okay, here we go. Create element, event child. 1. And 2. All right. So first, let's look at the thing here. So we can see that there is a button, a simple button, and there is a message. And then this is the button. So button takes on click, and then it says create element. And then we have the create element here. So create element says, so what does it do? It creates the element called button, and then sets the attribute of this button to on click, and then says create message function. It calls upon the create message function. We have the create message right here. Write this, and then we say var message equals div. So we are basically create message creates a div, and then sets its class to chat message, and then sets the context. This is the message, so this is the whatever it will be in the div, and then it appends to the message. Okay. And then we have inserts it into the first. It inserts it first into the message, this div message. So what's gonna happen here when I click button, another button will be created. 2 buttons actually. So first button will be create message, and second button is remove message. So we can see here. So we have a first button which says create message. Yeah, create message. That's the context, the text content. And then second button is created, which is remove message right here in front of it. Actually, I was thinking this is easy. I will just go here and I will show you. So this is what I did for the assignments, and there is sorry.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Thank you. Where was that? Manipulating class using triggering at child here. Yeah, it's the same, but it's on a web. So if you want to look at it, you can always go there. So basically we have 2 buttons, and then what does it do? Every time I click, well, first it appends this one to a document body, so it's on a body, and then it appends another one, remove button, and then we have this create message. This create message is triggered only when we click the create message, which is this. This triggers that, and then the second one triggers this remove message. So what we do here, once I click this on-click function this one is triggered, and then it calls this entire function, and it creates the class chat message, and then sets the context, and appends to the message, and then it just we can see that it's message one, message two, message three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, you know. So on a remove, when we click remove message, it triggers this. And then what happens is that it removes the child from the div message, and then it removes the child node 0. So the child node 0, actually in the array, this is the 8th child here. This is the 8th child. But in the DOM, this is the 0 child, if that makes sense. Other way around. So every time I click, there we go, it removed the last child. Last child, last child. So in the array, this is last, okay? But in the DOM, this is first. So, you know, in the gospel, I'm the last and the first, kind of.
Sorry, I don't understand.
So sorry, what I said is that the last child in the array, last variable, last div, or whatever it is, and then in the DOM object, in the DOM, it's the first one. So
the last will be the first, and the first will be the last.
Sorry?
The last will be the first, and the first will be the last.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, in a gospel, I'm the last and the first. So that's the way how you can be last at the same time and the first.
Yes.
So you set the message, then it comes back, and then remove it from the first. So yeah, and then you can start putting another one there. And then if you will look at DOM, I don't think, did I go to it has any? All right. Yeah, I didn't put anything in the console. So anyway, so that's how basically you can make any buttons or a div here. You can see, and then add the classes, whatever classes you want. You can even add the functions on it once you create like the dynamically. Yep, that's all. Any questions?
No, I understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for listening. All right. Yeah, I think we are done. Let me put this down. And let's see. Yeah. Gonna stop broadcasting.